Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. Is It Legal focuses on the legal issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices in Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning.
Tom, we've been talking about care planning. You know, our roles as lawyers has forced us to not only deal with the legal and the financial, but also care planning, just because there's not a lot of those services available.
Absolutely, and I spend many of my meetings where we're not even talking about one single legal issue other than maybe proper documents, and it's more about the person's needs and the facilities out there and the way to pay for those, the care.
And you know, and part of what we have to talk to people about is what does it actually mean? You know, we deal with a lot of urban myths out there. People come into my office and say, "Well, I don't go to assisted living because I have to give them my house."
Right. Oh, you hear that a lot, and people need to understand that's not the way the rules work. But that's one of the valuable things that we can help explain to them, so they're not being misled or misunderstanding the whole process.
They come in and they say they're in a facility that's $6,000 a month. They have $60,000 in resources, and they immediately say, "I'm going to be out of money in 10 months." I said, "Did you count the $3,000 a month that the person is making?"
Right.
And so in reality, they're not going to be out in 10 months. It may take close to 2 years to run out of money. And so, you know, we have to work with families to say, you know, you also have to understand, you know, what the resources are, what's available, and what the risk is. The average stay in assisted living for a person's 2 years. So actually, that $60,000 net income may be enough.
Absolutely, and so in many cases we're sitting there with actuarial tables to say, look, we don't have to pay for the next 50 years, we have to pay for 3 years, or whatever the math may be, so that families can rest assured they're going to be able to pay for it in good care with the resources they have on hand.
But then we also help families select facilities. There are less expensive assisted living facilities out there. Some of the less expensive ones happen to have strengths in the area that your family needs. Well, we're not going to go to one of these expensive facilities. It's really not adding anything to the process. There are some fairly inexpensive places, not ideal, but if the person has very limited resources, then we may have to make that choice, and we'll help families work through that process to try to identify which facility is the best fit for not only them personally, but their economic situation.
Right, and so one of the most common comments I get back is, "Oh, I never had heard that, I didn't know that," or, you know, I wasn't aware. And so, you know, it is an important service we provide, just sitting down and going through that process with them.
Well, you have the same issue if the person goes to the nursing home. So, well, I have to sign over my house. No, you don't have to sign over your house.
Right. If you're being told that, then you're being misled. And so you need to get the facts before you get burned financially. And the rules are great. And so if you don't know what the rules are, you know, you're not going to play the game well.
And then unfortunately people engage in strategies that just make no sense. For instance, for a married couple, their house is automatically protected anyway if one spouse is in the nursing home and applying for benefits, yet they're fouling up that title. They're transferring it to the kids or adding kids' names to it, doing life estate deeds, trust, none of which are essential and all of which foul up eligibility.
Exactly. And then they'll come back and say, well, Joe did that and they lost their house. Well, they gave it away and they then were forced to privately pay when instead it was a protected asset.
Well, and we get this stuff all the time. Well, everybody told me there's nothing to do. There's no need to see a lawyer because we're just going to have to pay it all out anyway, which is just absolutely false. And then we also said, if that's the worst case, and in fact there's nothing to be done, it doesn't matter that you engaged us to find out if there were any options, because you already threw it all in the towel anyway.
Yeah, don't you want to know what the rules are and what your options are? And it's really basic. If you don't ask, you're not going to find out.
And as we work with families, some of these strategies that these people want to enter into, these nursing homes know the rules. And in fact, you may want to go to a particular facility that you think is a great facility, and they're looking at your financial transactions and know you have fouled up your eligibility for benefits. We're not taking you because you engaged in that stuff. Whereas if you would have left it alone, we could have gotten you in there.
Almost every time. And so, doing nothing is a good plan as long as your documents in a row. And people have a difficult time with that.
Well, they go to buy a car, they research, they look at all the consumer magazines, they test drive everything else. They do all this other stuff in every other phase of their life, but then they rely on some backyard information that they got regarding the nursing home, thinking somehow they're saving money by not engaging a high-quality elder attorney to tell them what their options are.
Yeah, I frequently will tell them, hey, look, if someone diagnoses me with cancer, I'm going to go see the cancer doctor so I know what my choices are. If you don't, you're probably not going to have a good outcome.
And so as we work with families, as I tell them, even though you came to see me about legal and financial, the first order of business is to get the care plan under control. It's more important than anything else.
Exactly. We can put all the rest together and have a positive outcome almost every time.
And then once the care plan is under control, and the care plan does not only include the person who might be in the facility now, but it also includes their spouse, also includes potential of disabled children. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of issues that go with the care plan that are not necessarily just what's sitting in front of you.
Exactly. You need to analyze the facts, do the plan, be able to show the options, and then in many cases that just brings a great sense of relief.
People are afraid to come see us because of fees, but the reality is those initial consultations, you're billing by the hour for it, you're not committed to it, but the problem is we are dealing with government agencies who do have no intention of allowing you to get out of paying that bill if they can avoid it, and anybody who thinks it's anything other than adversarial has not done one of these.
No, you're absolutely right. This is an adversarial situation, and you need to essentially lawyer up so you can protect your interest.
Yeah, don't bring a squirt gun to a gunfight.
That's right.
Tom, as always, thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When the loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Double Safe Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lowe to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. With me today is Jerry Spessard, publisher of J. Gruber's Hagerstown Town and Country Almanack. Welcome to the show, Jerry.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
Always one of my favorite segments. We've been doing it every year for a number of years.
Yes,
but
we have.
First of all, what is an almanac?
Well, an almanac is something that was printed many, many years ago. It was given weather, give all kinds of tidbits, how to work on the farm, how to plant, when to fish, etc. So it's a...
And so it's always had a bunch of very useful tips in terms of day-to-day living and
It
so
sure
forth.
does.
It was sort of
yes.
a handbook in the...
Yeah. That was their source. Well, as one person told me, it was their Bible. It was their day-to-day Bible that they referred to.
And interesting enough, almanacs for many years have done weather predicting.
Yes, that's one of the things that we do. We've been doing it since 1797. We're using the exact same formula of 1797 in today's environment. And we've been very accurate, to be honest with you. We did very well in 2018. We said it was going to be a very wet year, and it has been a very wet year. And for 2019, we're saying it's going to be, again, very wet, but we think it's going to be a lot of snow. A lot of
It
snow.
only takes a few degrees change between wet rain and
Yes.
heavy snow.
We think it's going to be very cold. We think it's going to be extremely cold at Christmas time.
And then, of course, you did a lot about telling farmers about when to plant.
Yes, we do. It's based on the gravitational pull of the earth, and we can tell you the best time to plant above ground crops, below ground crops, best time to harvest them. You know, and it is all based on the atmosphere, I guess I should say.
And of course, even some tips on fishing.
Fishing, again, that's based on the gravitational pull. Yes, I will tell you, fishermen live by our chart.
One of the interesting things is in the old days, you used to be able to sell these at supermarkets and all
Yes.
types of stuff now, and it's just not the way it's distributed anymore. But you still have as many as you ever have, but the easiest way is to get on and get a subscription.
Yeah, we have a subscription program, and it's exhausting for me. It's 30,000 almanacs I have to get out every year, and so it's a lot of mailing, but we just do not have the distribution system that we used to.
Every supermarket in the past, grocery store and so forth, pharmacy would allow you to have it. Now it's all controlled by corporate America.
Well, I had 32 distributors back in 1984, and I have one now, just one.
All right, well, let's pull up some pictures here.
Sure.
Because it was
Okay.
Now, the Almanack's been in publication for how long?
Since 1797, it was in German in the beginning, and then it was printed in both English and German for a period of time, and then in 1921, the German edition was discontinued. It was totally English.
Now, it said 1797. Is that
Yes.
continuous?
Yes, it has. Every single year we've published it. Yes.
So that makes you one of the oldest almanacs.
We're
out.
the second oldest almanac in the entire United States.
Now, this is how it's printed. I just
Yes.
think this is really cool. So this is a plate.
Yes.
And so that's the 1918 front. And so what they did is they just popped out the year, stuck in the new year, and,
Yeah.
and all that was carved in reverse.
It was amazing. I just don't understand how they could have done that.
All right,
Yeah.
so here's a 1929 one, which other than the paper texture, it has essentially the same look as it has today.
It is. It's almost identical. Yeah.
And so once again, that's distributed through you. And then here's what, I just love these. Now, these are actually original plates.
These are the original plates of 1797. They're all hand carved. They're extremely heavy, and they were used to print the pages of the almanac.
And so, and when they did those, all of it in German, when it was printed, it was all in reverse.
Yes,
And then it
yes.
got printed on there.
Yep.
And this is our favorite story regarding the almanac. How did you almost destroy the almanac?
Well, I thought that in electronic age that we're in today, that we could get rid of the multiplication table because
back page?
On the back page. So I sold it to an advertiser, and boy, did I ever take the heat on that, and I will never do it again.
And so, don't mess it up.
Don't change it. You just,
And then you
definitely-
saw all of them. You can see
Yes.
that they essentially look the same as they've always
They
looked.
have. We've kept it the exactly same, and the woodcuts that you saw earlier, we're still using those.
Wow.
We still use those woodcuts.
Well,
Yeah.
that's got to add to the great charm of it. So if somebody wanted a subscription, how would they get it?
Best thing is go on the website, almanack.com, but it's ALMANACK. The German version has a C and a K at the end. So it's almanack.com. And we'll ship them out the same day we get them. Very inexpensive. It's a great publication.
Well,
We
I
enjoy
just loved it, and while my mom was alive, you graciously used to send
my
her, and
gosh,
she
yes.
absolutely loved it too.
Yep, I'm glad.
Well, Jerry, I want to thank you for taking
Thank
time.
you ever so much for having us on. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
And I know you're good for another 100 years.
Oh, yes, definitely so.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquility at Fredericktown Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquility, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquility at Fredericktown a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
Guys, I thought you were supposed to be working in the yard.
If you haven't visited HurleyAuctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at HurleyAuctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Micke Brown, Community Health Nurse, Washington County Health Department. Welcome to the show, Micke.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
We have the health department on every year because we have to talk about a topic that recurs every year, no escaping it, and that's the flu season.
Absolutely.
Why do we have to talk about it each year?
Well, because I think some people feel like once they got a flu shot, they don't need to get it anymore, and it doesn't have lifelong immunity. You have to get a new shot every year because the flu strains are different every year.
So a bunch of researchers go to China and into these various markets, and they do research and they make a guess as to what's the most likely flu strain that we're going to see in North America in October to March.
Absolutely, and they also learn from what happened the year before. So for example, last year we did have more difficulty with flu outbreaks because the H3N2 strain is so difficult to match a vaccine that will give you good immunity. So we had more hospitalizations, we had more deaths of children and our older adults than in the past. It was almost as close to the severity it was when H1N1 occurred in 2009.
But the interesting thing about this, people would use that as an excuse to not get the flu shot. But in reality, even if it didn't hit it perfectly, the body still began developing the antibodies to be prepared to deal with it, and typically less severity.
Absolutely. So if you get the flu shot, and even if you do get the flu, the case will be less severe for you. So running the risk of not getting the flu shot, especially if you have health concerns or your health is frail, could set you up for a case of the flu that's so severe that it'll either put you in the hospital or could perhaps take your life.
And somehow people get the idea that it's just not that big a deal.
Getting the flu shot, not big a deal?
No,
or
getting the flu is not that big.
Oh, yeah, it is. I mean, it's not the typical cold. It's not just the sniffles and coughing and things like that. That's severe muscle aches and pains, a lot of weakness, high fevers. You can also have nausea and vomiting, diarrhea. It makes people lose time away from their family. It subjects the family that's been exposed to perhaps them getting sick. There's a lot of lost work time because you don't really need or should be going to work if you have a fever, if you have flu symptoms.
And so you have to do it every year.
Absolutely.
And it's because it's constantly changing. It's very transitory and one to the next and so forth. And so as we always do each year, it's not do as I say, not as I do. So we're going to let you administer the coup de grace on giving me a flu shot. So if you want to load up here, I'll get my coat
I'm
off.
so privileged.
So for this segment, I'll wear a short sleeve shirt.
Yep.
And I think I'm jiggling the mic. Let's make sure that I have it here so that we can hear me speak.
Now, what's important to know is that the most common side effects of any type of vaccine, including the flu vaccine, can be a low-grade fever. You could run a fever below 100 for the next 24 hours. You could feel off your game, more tired, headachy, like you're getting sick, but it goes away. Or you could have redness, tenderness, swelling to the injection site. Okay, those are very normal.
Do you get the flu from the flu shot?
You do not. If you get the flu right after you have the flu shot, it's because you've already been exposed. It takes about 2 weeks for the flu vaccine to really kick in. Really relax this muscle for me, Michael. Thank you.
All right, so we always do this so that you can see that this is really an amazingly
deal, right?
small deal. I didn't even feel that go in, and it's done. Now, like all of our viewers, older viewers, we all take blood thinners, so we all have to have
a Band-Aid.
Because we'll just
and you're nice enough to let me know where it was.
I don't even know where it was.
Band-Aid can come off in about 10 minutes if it starts to bug you. And then we also teach chicken wings. If you think about it, you've got all that vaccine in your muscle and you want to get it into your bloodstream faster so it won't be so sore. So 4 or 5 chicken wings every hour for the next couple hours, you'll be good to go.
Well, yeah, it's real simple. And one of the beauties of this is in the old days, the health department was the primary purveyor of the flu shot. Today, most pharmacies, many doctors' offices have it. Pretty easy to get it.
Yeah, if your pharmacy, if you go to get your prescription filled, they should be already asking you if you've gotten your flu vaccine and seeing if you want it there.
And then, of course, most insurance covers it because they'd much rather have you get vaccinated than have to treat you.
Yeah, and grandparents should know that we also go out, the health department goes out to the schools. We'll be starting, I think, next week. We will be vaccinating pre-K up to 6th grade to make sure that the young folks who tend to carry a lot of different viruses all year long, they don't get the flu, they don't expose the flu to families.
Micke,
and that's free. So.
Micke, I want to thank you for taking time to appear on our program.
My pleasure, and thank you for letting me give you your injection this year.
Thanks. More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Albright, Crumbacher, Mal and Idell are a full-service firm that provides elder care services, including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on Contemporary Retirement. Making Sense focuses on the financial issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Christian Wright, President of Wright, Gardner Insurance. Welcome to the show, Christian.
Thank you, Michael.
You know, one of the interesting things about your agency is there's no name insurance company attached to it.
Yeah, so we are an independent agent. We represent a lot of different insurance companies, so we're not beholden to any one insurance company, which gives us a lot of flexibility.
And one of the interesting things that's happened in your business, you see an awful lot of consolidation. We've seen a lot of other financial services companies acquire agencies, and those agencies have gone from being, very independent, focused on customer service, to now sort of being corporate and maximizing profits, and a little bit of question about their commitment.
Yes, I mean, once you become that corporate large entity, you operate under a whole different set of circumstances, where with us, the nice thing about a company like us, first of all, being an independent agent, we're not beholden to one insurance company. We've talked about that a lot. But the other thing is we're, actually we're family owned. So we actually, you get right to the top, you need me, call, and you'll talk right to me.
And then, of course, you have employees that are very active in the process as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Employees that, there's a very short chain of command. They take a lot of pride, not that others don't, but they take a lot of pride in the work that they do. And they're also local employees, and they care about the community and the insureds that we have.
And and I've been in this community more than 40 years and dealing with insurance agencies, and I can remember 30, 40 years ago, there are 4 or 5 really high quality independent agents out there that really knew what they're doing. And unfortunately, with this corporate ownership, we now see a number of those agencies that are really not of the same caliber that they once were.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate situation for many policyholders in the area. You're used to dealing with someone, something happens or they're acquired, and you don't have that personal touch. And the personal touch is what I think you need, especially when you're dealing with something like insurance that can be many times confusing and need not be.
And what we find is the consumer in this environment is almost completely ill-equipped to make good decisions in this. They're buying stuff, not understanding what they're buying. Oftentimes they're focused on cost, not realizing that the insurance industry is strictly a measure of how much risk you're willing to accept, and when there's a lower cost, you're accepting greater risk.
Exactly. I wish more policyholders understood that, potential policyholders, because some of these national companies have done such a great job of advertising about price. But the reality is you get what you pay for. I'm not suggesting you need to pay a lot for your insurance, but a fair price. Here's the thing. If you're going to cut your insurance by 25%, you are cutting coverage, because all insurance companies are actually, they buy their insurance from the same company. So this idea that you just keep driving the price down without sacrificing coverage is just simply not true.
Well, they're all operating off of the same databases. They know what, it doesn't cost any less to fix a Ford, whether it's done by one company or another. The risk of that car being involved in an accident is roughly the same no matter which carrier there is, so there cannot be any magic there.
There isn't. And many times we talk about a lot of issues on this program, like limits of insurance and minimum limits on automobile insurance. And when you're looking at a lot lower premiums, 9 times out of 10, it's absolutely you're getting minimum protection. And the cost to increase that isn't that much. So, viewers really need to take the time and talk to their agent about what they're buying so they understand it.
When I look at insurance across the board, I'm going to use a number which I've never seen an insurance agent get this kind of a number, 20% of the going commission. They never get that much. So the reality is, when you talk to them about potentially increasing a premium by $60, you're making nothing on it. It's about getting the right coverage.
Exactly. And unfortunately, again, I think insurance agents have this they're stereotyped that they're gonna pitch insurance, they're gonna sell you more. It's all about the commission in their pocket. And you're right, it's very minimal, and I will say this, it's definitely less than 10%, and many times it's not much more than 1 or 2%. So, that's what the agency makes. That's not the person that's actually selling it, so it's even less. So they're really trying to look out for your best interest.
Well, it's a competitive business. It's a highly competitive business. So there's no fat in that business that, that an agent can just make a couple of sales and take the rest of the month off.
I wish so, but no, definitely not. Definitely not.
Well, Christian, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just this simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.